did not have my coffee yet. All right. Let's get going. Play some Death Stranding 2 this morning. Oh, I just remembered I need to check my Amazon really quick. Good morning, Stoic Whiskey Dad Hector. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. I ordered a new monitor yesterday, everybody, but it's gonna take a few weeks to get here. Looks like it's supposed to arrive on the 4th of August. I got a 32-inch 4K MSI monitor. It was on sale. I did budget shop. Which hopefully will help with my eye stuff. And I got a hydraulic arm thing for the second monitor, because what'll end up happening is I'll put this monitor here, and then what I want to do is I want to stack the other monitor on top. So hopefully I ordered the right dimensions for everything. Otherwise it might not work the way I want it to. We may have to do some office rearrangement when everything gets here. Good morning, Jibrum. I tell you what, guys. I about fell off the chuckle bus this morning, waking up and spending the last like 45 minutes reading comments from really pissed off people. On the Stop Killing Games video I did yesterday. Holy crap. There's some angry people in the world. Let's just put it that way. There's some really angry people in the world, and some people are trying to start crap in the Discord too, as well, over that video. And I'm just like, you know what, guys? It was just a discussion video. Calm your fucking jets. Oh, I don't mind Hartman's glasses. Those aren't bad. Drebrom, you said I get a beanie, I think is what you said after a certain point with the pizza dude, which is interesting. Alright, let's get out of here and go do some quests. Oh my goodness. Stoic says, I wish I didn't have to leave for work soon. I distinctly remember.
Sam.
Yeah.
I thought we already did this with you. It helped you with like language stuff. Are we doing it again?
I have another question for you.
We are.
This one's a little bit harder than the first one.
Oh Jesus. Don't make me do math first thing in the morning. God damn. Anyway, what I was saying was, I distinctly remember there was a project I worked on with my dad years ago. We lived north of Denver, like by about 2 hours, and the project we were working on was the south side of Denver. So we had to drive 3 hours every morning, and then 3 hours to come home. So 6 hours a day in the vehicles, on top of working. That drive could be longer if we hit rush hour traffic. So 2.5, 3 hours every single morning, 2.5, 3 hours every single night. 5, 6 hours in the vehicle. Now, the workers, myself included, we all got compensated for drive time, right? So we got paid to be in the vehicle, which was okay. But it's still, you know, in order to avoid rush hour traffic, what we did was my dad implemented a 6-hour work, or sorry, not 6 hour, an 8-hour work day with no breaks. So we worked 6 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon with no breaks. You would get a break for lunch, and that was it. You had time to eat your lunch, but no breaks outside of that, which technically these days is highly illegal. But back in the day, you know. So we would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to leave the house by 3:30 to be on the job site by 6 o'clock to beat rush hour traffic on the way there. Because otherwise that 2.5, 3-hour drive turned into like a 4-hour drive. And we would work until 2 o'clock and then get back in the truck and drive all the way back home and be home by 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then you literally take a shower, eat your dinner, and pass out at like 7 o'clock because you got to get up at 3 o'clock the next morning. And we did that project. That was a Home Depot Expo Center. And that project was like 8 months. Dude, I hated my life during that project. Hated my life. Yeah. And he didn't pay overtime, so. But yeah, 8 months of working 5 days a week. I don't remember working Saturdays, but we did work 5 days a week. 6 to 2, no breaks. 4 to 5 hours a day of drive time in the truck. So you're working. Objectively, you're working 12-hour days. Oh, coffee breaks 100% increase productivity. So do smoke breaks. That's what I try to tell my dad all the time. I was like, I'm taking a break to drink a cup of coffee and smoke a cigarette. It's going to make me more productive. Get the fuck off my back. All right, select the block that best fits the position of the question. It looks like it just turned it. I'm not quite understanding this. Yes, familiar slavery. Is that literally a term, Hector? I want to look that up now. Oh, it means my God, as in surprise. Oh my God. Yeah, familiar slavery. We often, yeah, I swear that old farmers, like people who grew up, like the Amish especially, the Amish just crank out babies so that they can have free labor. Okay, select the answer. Select the block that best fits in the position. I do not understand this. Oh, hang on. Equals. Equals. So this is a math question. Yeah, man. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 8 is 16. No, hang on. I can't do math. My math brain sucks, guys. Give me a moment. 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 4 is 12. So it's the cube. It's up. 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. Right? Am I stupid or is that... So my initial brain reaction was this is a shape question. And then I realized it's just simple math. 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. It's up. 4 plus 4 plus 4. No! No! What the fuck was it? I thought it was a math question. I don't care. It's too early for me to be doing math. That's why I use a calculator, kids. Well, I'm disappointed now. What's up, Transcend? Don't be making me do those kind of questions first thing in the morning. I get a reward? Hang on. Can I reload? I could have sworn it was gonna be the cube.
Sam.
Yeah.
I do not understand that.
I have another question for you.
Good for you.
This one's a little bit harder than the first one.
What the fuck? Is it a shape puzzle? Well, at this point, I just don't know, so... I'll reload again. So it's not up, it's not down. I don't really care. Damn it. I want to know what the answer is, though. I need to know the logic of what the answer is. This is what's frustrating me about this. Is like... I apparently fail at simple... Alright, see you, Jerome. Enjoy the hike.
Sam.
Yeah.
I have another question for you. This one's a little bit harder than the first one.
Yeah, way harder. I still don't understand how it can't be simple math. Like, I wanted it to be math. Because my brain was like, oh, there's 4 cubes in each one. Oh, Jesus, neither. Ah. Well, there's only one that it could be, right? Because we've gone through the other 3 options now.
Sam.
Yeah.
It's gotta be the right
I
option.
have another question for you. This one's a little bit harder than the first one.
Right. I don't know how it would be right. Like, show me why that's the right answer. But show me why it's the right answer. That's what I don't like. Like, it just doesn't tell me why it's the proper answer. Stupid vehicle decal.
Sam, your next order is a little complicated, if I'm being honest. I'll brief you on the particulars while you review the relevant information. Go ahead and accept this main order on the terminal.
Extract data from the weapons fabricators and destroy them. Then bring it back. Oh, that is a long way away.
Okay, Sam. This next order calls for you to infiltrate a weapons factory and disable the weapon fabricators you find within. The factory is located in this area.
BTs.
Although it's outside the chiral network, they have fabricators capable of producing advanced weaponry. We don't know what kind of security they have on site, so make sure you're prepared to face anything and everything. There's also a vital piece of equipment you'll need to take with you. We'll get it ready once you've finalized your route. The Ring Terminal expansion device is designed to support the Ring Terminal's hacking capabilities. The factory where the weapon fabricators are located is outside the bounds of the chiral network, and APAS has determined that you won't be able to hack into them with your Ring Terminal alone. But with this device in your possession, all you need to do is access the fabricator terminal. It'll be hacked and rendered inoperable before you know it. Once the terminal is out of action, they'll have no way of getting the fabricators up and running. And they'll likely conclude it's not worth the hassle to try and make weapons here again. Hacking the weapon fabricator terminal will also simultaneously extract any data stored in its drive. So be sure to bring the expansion device back to the Magellan once the fabricators are disabled. You'll need to submit it to the ship's delivery terminal to complete the order. We'll conduct a full analysis of the data you bring us. Oh, and a word of warning. This device contains unique components that can't be reproduced with a chiral printer. So whatever you do, don't break it.
Don't break
Get
it
the
and
job done,
don't
Sam.
lose it. Those are the 2 rules of this mission. Alright, this will be fun.
Good, good.
Give me 2 seconds here. You break it, you buy it, right? Alright. Okay. I have points I can spend. I care about that. I can go ahead and take this. Alright, we essentially just need to drive.
Commencing route creation.
Yeah, let's just follow this road all the way. Let's just go to the data scientist, maybe? Park my truck. I guess I don't need to park my truck there. But that's
Delivery route finalized.
where we're gonna go. Do I need to repair my vehicle? Hey guys, we're in Dune Awakening. There's a frickin' sandstorm right here. Like shit, man.
Gotcha.
I didn't see that when I came in. Yeah, check that out. I'm playing Dune Awakening all of a sudden. I can't see shit. More importantly, are there any T6 alphas nearby? Oh my god, I literally can't see anything. I don't know if I'm about to rocket myself into a cliff or what. This is annoying. Like, I'm not even mildly amused by this. Like, I have no idea if I'm climbing a sand dune that my character can't make it over. Like, I can't see shit. I'm not moving. I'm definitely on a sand dune right now. Dude, I can't see shit. This is not even. I don't consider this to be smart game development. Like, there's literally no point to design something where you can't even see anything. Like, I can understand reduced visibility for the purposes of story elements like sandstorm. But, like, I can't even see. Like, not a fan of that right here. I did Slacker video already went out about 20 minutes ago, maybe about 10 minutes before I started the stream. So I guess more like 40 minutes ago. That's why the stream was like 20 minutes late, because I was busy doing the oops. Alright, it doesn't matter if you can't see it, it's art. Alright. Alright, now I gotta figure out. I'm gonna need more coffee too. Okay, I've got a generator right there. I don't know that it matters what way I go in here. Let's go here because there's a watchtower. At least give me some initial view of things.
Thanks for the help. This one's for you. Thank you, Kyle. Thanks for the help. Thank you, Kyle. Came in handy. This one's for you. Thank you, Kyle.
Be counting on you, Sam.
Why did it just do that?
We're all rooting for you.
Rootin' tootin'. Oh, there's 18
It's not so bad.
mobs on site. Give me a second. I don't know why my power plan just reset on the other computer. Yeah, it should never turn off when it's plugged in. So why is it turning off?
Come back again soon.
I am gonna get coffee before I go into this place because it's gonna be intense. How many liters a day of coffee do I drink? We have a I think it's a 1 liter French press. and we do 2 of those a day. I drink about 2/3 of that. Chris drinks the other third. Usually what that means is I drink 2 big cups every morning. By the way, shout out to Rebellion Games for the Adamfall Cup. I drink 2 big cups every morning, and usually there's enough left over for me to have a third. Chris will have 1 big cup. She'll usually do about 3/4 and milk. I drink black. So I'll drink 2.5 of these in the morning. She'll have 3/4 of one in the morning. And then she makes another one after breakfast or with breakfast. Usually that's the second when I'm streaming. That's usually about 3 hours from now, 4 hours from now. She'll have the second French press ready. I usually drink 1 or 2 cups out of that. She'll drink the rest. And then sometimes in the afternoons, after naps and stuff, we'll have, I like Nescafe, like instant powdered cappuccino, frappuccino shit. It's just sugar and, you know, or I like an espresso with milk and sugar in the afternoon. So technically I think we both drink about 2 liters a day, a little bit more than. I used to drink like a full like 2 to 3 liters by myself, but my last high ischial hernia blowout, I had such a bad time. I was just like, I'm just not gonna drink coffee like that anymore, because I don't know what was contributing to it, and I didn't want to worry about. I do. It's exactly how I like my coffee. Dude, are these? They're like hovering in the air. What the hell?
Wait, Sam. I don't think we're alone out here.
Gotta stretch my legs.
Oh wow, I'm like, there's a new icon. High temperatures. Drains my stamina. What the hell? Oh, these are robots, I think. Yeah, I think these are robots. Yeah, Slacker, I mean, it's one of those situations where, man, I just feel like the vast majority of people who react to things these days are doing so from a place of absolute ignorance, whether it's the Funcom situation or other situations. Just, people react to thumbnails, they don't react to information. And it's like, I see a lot of accusations, Funcom's not doing enough, and it's like, dude, they're reimbursing people. How is that not doing enough? They're combating hackers and cheaters. How is that not doing enough? Like, I just stole his weapon. I'm just gonna drive my truck around and kill everybody with my truck. Haha! What the hell? That was unexpected. quite sure why sometimes... Oh, I see, because I'm not holding the right button. Oh, I see, I see. It's different because I'm on the truck. Oh, I'm like sitting here going, why is it pushing my truck forward when I'm holding the fire button? It's because I'm driving the truck. And it literally tells me right there, R1 is fire when you're on the truck. Alright, I am no longer hurt by you. Let's drive around the side, get rid of all these guys. Oh yeah, they go down way faster now. I think I'm gonna have to get off the truck and go get the rest of these, to be honest with you. No, get the gun out. A couple more in here somewhere. Dude, I'm loving the gun on the truck, man. Gustav, you asked a question. Do we drink our coffee with bread and butter? Not bread and butter, but pastries like sweetbread. It's very common in Mexico to have sweetbread with your coffee. I do not, but Chris does. Chris is Mexican through and through, and so she drinks. It's all like she has to have something to dunk in her coffee.
All the fabricators are toast. We've extracted the necessary data as well. Let's make our escape and return to the DHB Magellan. Don't forget to bring the ring terminal expansion device with you.
Also, just like anything that you can put. Higgs. My truck's outside too, man. Hope he doesn't mess up my truck.
Let that yawn out. There's no pretending. I
finally see his face.
Hey, brother.
Hey,
Did you
buddy.
miss me?
Hell no.
Yeah, I figured you'd pay this place a visit, seeing as how I've been distributing the fruits of this fine factory all over the continent. With guns and violence, the whole damn world could be yours. Same as it ever was. Oh. Looks like you decided to trade in that rope for a stick this go-around. Well, I suppose even a porter has to pull the trigger from time to time. Oh, what about you? Hey, buddy. Are you just another soulless little husk, huh?
Let go of me!
The eyeballs.
Pathetic guitarist. Where's the rest of your band?
Well, ain't that something?
Was it you, Higgs? Huh? Was it you that killed Lou?
You still don't know, do you? Sam the man in the dark about everything.
Fuck you know about my kid?
If you want answers, you're gonna have to find them yourself. But the ones you do find, well, that pain you nurse will only get worse. Now, I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of that fancy boat your friends brought along, so before they show up, how about I get a little taste of that endless agony? Hmm? Something special just for you. Bit of that rope you like so much. This here, my guts. And they'll grow tighter over time. You best believe they will pop your head clean off. But you are repatriate, meaning you'll just keep coming back. Only for my boys here to keep doing their thing over and over again. So you'll just die and die and keep on dying for all eternity.
Sam!
Yeah. Really is a shame you won't stay dead. But hey, locking you in a cycle of endless suffering, well, that's good too. So let's let the glorious game over loop begin. The fuck?
Hello. What the hell? What the fuck, man? I didn't even realize he had a guitar until just now. Like, I was wondering what the Doll Man's freaky guitarist comment was about. And I just realized he had a guitar as he does this combat thing.
Yeah, Big Red. Just you and me dance, huh?
You know it ain't the end of him.
Son of bitches like me.
back in his coffin and getting him out.
Sorry, Sam. We'll have to have our fun another time.
Do I still have the thing around my neck?
Hey, who the hell are you?
Zero, zero, zero is the number. Do I still have it around my neck, though, is the thing I can't tell. There was the thumbs up as the thing went
What
down.
on earth was that red behemoth anyway? The way it wielded that sword was almost reminiscent of a samurai. A friend of yours, perhaps? In any event, I think it's time we left this place.
No shit, Sherlock.
Come on, Sam. Let's get going and return the ring terminal expansion device to the DHV Magellan.
I don't even know what any of that was.
What's that one?
Yeah, right, Hector. I think we could say that Kojima is a complete and utter lunatic.
Snag.
Drugs are bad, okay? Oh, hang on. Gotta mute the music. Gotta mute the music. One of the most annoying things about this game. Well, hopefully we'll learn more about the samurai dude. I will say, though, it's really cool to see Troy Baker played like a bad guy. He's doing a great job. Yeah, we're not ramping over, sorry. I can't remember if we're delivering this one to the ship. I think we are. But I've got a couple things to drop off at the Motherhood first. Excuse me. I think it's just some people have a very creative vision of things, and to the rest of us who are not as creatively charged, it can feel like drugs, drugs. I'm still waiting for the music to end, and I hear the microwave, which means Chris is up.
Appreciate. What a surprise. Take this. Along
BB
with power
pod
tanks,
patterns.
we're increasing your allocation of
Well,
material.
thank you very much. Now the question is it going to start playing music
Have you
again as soon
considered
as we
custom?
stop this?
You know, all benefit. Think about it.
Yeah, it is. Hang on, I gotta mute that. Oftentimes the songs will stop when you get to one of these locations. That one did not. Well, it's kind of like if you think back to, I know we're playing a lot of Dune. For people who have actually read Frank Herbert's books, like the first one is a fairly straightforward science fiction novel. Second one gets a little more woo. Third one's woo. And then after number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc., those are out there. Like truly out there. Like he was definitely on some things in the later days. Picasso was on some things creating all of his art. Oh, Transcend says Destiny 2 Open Access just started, where you have access to all current expansion content until July 2nd, and what you earn in that time you keep. Ooh. Stephen King. Well, Stephen King was also pretty for quite a while as well. He was, and he's admitted it too. He's like, there was a period of my life where I was just,
That was some incredible. I knew you had it in you.
Jesus. Man, this is so I just happened to pop it because somebody had mentioned something about the Dune Awakening because of the patch, the developer update this morning. This is a literal comment from somebody on their Discord. Listen up, devs. Your bonehead obsession with forcing PvP down our throats is tanking this game harder than a lead balloon. I'm done with your half-baked dumpster fire decisions. Your deep desert is a steaming pile of nonsense, and your PvP vision is a middle finger to everyone who actually plays. Stop ignoring the community's screams for what we want. You're driving this game off a cliff. Either fix it or sell it to developers who aren't allergic to basic competence. Do better or just give it up already. Oh my god. Dude. Tell us you live in your mom's basement without telling us you live in your mom's basement. Heinrich says, getting this game on my birthday next month. Nice. I didn't know the orange one played Dune. Oh my god.
Now displaying your current quarter grade.
Increased MP ammo firing rate. Oh, because my combat went up to 20. Nice.
I'm glad we could confirm that Higgs was involved. Though I still don't understand how he escaped the beach. The Ghost Mech forces are definitely under his control. And Higgs is determined to spread weapons to every corner of Australia. The information we retrieved from the device you brought back to us only serves to confirm this. We now know for a fact that the weapons spring up in this region can all be traced back to that factory. But that's not all we've determined. We've also learned about a new type of fabricator, one that wasn't present at the weapons factory.
Okay.
It's not clear where they're being used or what they're producing, but this likely means there may be another factory out there. We'll look into it.
Great work, Sam. That factory won't be capable of producing weapons ever again. The Motherhood should rest a little bit easier with that knowledge. Higgs remains a concern, however. It is indeed possible he has another factory elsewhere in the continent. It seems we'll need to proceed with greater caution in the days and weeks ahead. Upgrading the Magellan may also be worth considering. As for you, Sam, you need only to continue expanding the network.
For now, Sam, you should return to your private room and get some rest. You made a real difference today.
Well, I'll tell you what's really entitled Gamer Tombs. So, you know, without delving into the whole stop killing games thing, I made a topic discussion post yesterday. I don't want to dive too deep in the rabbit hole, but one of the things that came out of that discussion last night was someone said one of the core aspects of an online game should always remain open to players, even if the developers decide to sunset the game. What no one is talking about, and this is the entitled gamer thing coming to the forefront, what no one is talking about is who pays for the costs once a game is no longer being operated by the developer. So there are server costs, there are infrastructure costs, there are ongoing, assuming the IP holder wants to continue licensing the IP for active development use. Who is paying all of the money for the server infrastructure, the hosting costs, the back end, not only the maintenance, the people who are required to remain on staff to ensure that the live service game continues to be operated as a live service. Who continues to pay for all of that stuff? And that's something that no one seems to be wanting to have a conversation. They just say, I want my thing forever, without understanding that live service products are designed to have a functioning backbone that is paid for by someone. And if that someone is no longer around, who is paying for that backbone, let alone the licensing and all the other stuff? Tariffs will pay for it. Entitled gamer syndrome is probably one of the worst modern diseases out there. For sure. Someone tried to tell me yesterday that, and this just shows the ignorance of people who don't understand copyright and trademark law. I guess I was already on this ship. Someone said, when I buy, this is literally what they said, when I buy a toaster, I can make toast forever using that toaster. And when I buy a video game, I should be able to do whatever I want with that video game forever because I own it and it's mine. And if I want to use that video game to be able to do other things based on that video game, if the company's unwilling to do so, then I should have the right to do so. And I just was like face palming the whole time. Like, the fact that you're trying to compare an inanimate toaster with the complexities of intellectual property and its derivatives shows that you have an absolute fundamental lack of intelligence on the subject at hand. Like, you are not even just ignorant, lack of knowledge, you were ignorant to the point of stupid by thinking that, oh, I own a toaster, I could make toast forever. Yes, you can, but the moment you start taking that toast and trying to sell that toast, that's when complexity, like, you can't, like, a toaster is not the same thing as a book, right? A toaster is a patented object used in the production of food. A book is a piece of intellectual property
Break time.
that has
arguments
copyrights
here.
associated with it, and those copyrights have lifespans, they have terms and conditions. Then there are derivative rights for film products, and it's like, y'all are just stupid. That's what it comes down to. Oh yeah, Transcend. Yeah. There's no understanding at all of the fundamental licensing and complexities of running a live service operation. Things like, I don't know.
She's at it again.
So like this game runs is it the Decima engine? I think is what it's called.
Wait,
I'm looking this up.
looks
Yeah,
like
the
clear
Decima engine.
skies.
Let me get through the cutscene.
Let the sun shine tomorrow. It's a Japanese game to predict the weather. I learned it as a kid. This is rainy, cloudy, and sunny. A charm to ward off evil spirits. To help keep tomorrow safe. Hope it's right.
Doesn't it always rain whenever you go outside, though?
Yes. But deep down in my heart, it's really sunny. Always.
Okay, your turn.
Okay. Let's do this. 明日天気になれ。
There. Now it'll be sunny.
Bye, Sam.
Bye. Whatever.
Whatever. All right. I think I'm safe to continue on the conversation. So, Death Stranding 2 is using the Decima engine, right? Now, this is a single-player game, so it's a little different. But let's assume for a minute that Death Stranding 2 is an online MMO using the Decima engine. And they're licensed to use the Decima engine for this game. But then they decide that they're going to end production of this game. Or let's say that Decima sells and Decima no longer exists anymore. Whoever buys Decima, if someone buys it, has the legal right to say, well, your product is using an old version of our product. Like, your product is using an old version of this thing that's no longer in existence. You're not allowed to do anything beyond what you already have. So if they wanted to continue to produce future content, if the license is up, they would have to move to a new engine. More than likely what would happen is they would develop a new product EverQuest 1 becomes EverQuest 2, becomes EverQuest 3, because all the licenses associated with that thing. I don't know if you guys know what SpeedTree is. SpeedTree is a tool that is used in many movies and video games to create trees. When you use SpeedTree to put items into your project, you are licensing the use of those trees. You're licensing the use of SpeedTree for that specific project, for that specific use. You can't do anything with the trees in that game beyond the use of that game. And once the game is done, the license cannot be extended, cannot be replicated, so on and so forth. So it's only good for that time. So if you try to then take that game, backwards engineer it, and then publish that because you want access to it forever, you are now breaking copyright law and licensing law related to SpeedTree assets, which were only licensed for use in that specific instance of a live service product. If that live service product is no longer in existence and you're making something over here that is not part of the original licensed product, you are breaking copyright law and you are breaking the legal licensing restrictions related to the SpeedTree assets used in that project. And that's the thing that a lot of people are, they're like, but that's not what the Stop Killing Games movement is really about. It's about forcing these companies to stop taking games offline. I understand it. I do understand it. But what you're not understanding is the complexities of all of these assets that are used and the back end. Like every time you load up an MMO, you're probably going to see 10 or 15 logos at the beginning. And those are all of the licenses that the company has paid for to make the Quixel art, SpeedTree, the name of the engine, whether it's Unity, Unreal, Decima, etc. All of those are licenses that have a specific period of use and a specific example. Someone tried to say yesterday in my video that if Dune Awakening were to go offline, I'm gonna go read the comment. Now that you guys got me on the topic, I can't get off the topic until I get this out of my system. I gotta go find this comment. I gotta go find this comment. I can't. I can't move on, man. Let's see. We gotta go to comments, published, sort by. You know what? It would be better just to go to the video and check the comments there. Companies can make their own engines, yes. Here it is. Regarding the Dune example, nothing would change for the owning player in regards to licensing. They would still. So this is assuming Dune. Let's say Dune Awakening goes offline in 10 years. This person says nothing would change for the owning player in regards to licensing. They would still have the same client they already paid for. They would simply have to host and connect to their own local server. Hang on, we're not done yet. This is what the actual goal of the Stop Killing Gays movement is, at least from what I understand from the wording on the site. They aren't requesting or expecting licensing or IP rights to change. They simply want the company to provide some kind of creative connectivity solution at the conclusion of a hosting lifecycle, as that's all. But that's the thing. There is a fundamental misunderstanding about copyright law at the back core of Stop Killing Games. So this again, I'm reading this verbatim. The players, nothing would change for the players. They already have the same client. They simply have to host and connect to their own local server. But you're misunderstanding the fact that the licensing for the Dune IP, the licensing to host Dune Awakening, is tied to Funcom and Legendary. If Funcom and Legendary no longer have the rights, assuming in 10 years the rights revert back to Herbert Enterprises, It is illegal, fundamentally illegal for a individual owner to host and have their own local server. This is why emulator servers consistently get legal takedown notices from active IP holders. I'm not saying like you can. There are a lot of cases where dead games continue to exist. Star Wars Galaxies has a ton of like active emulators out there that don't get hit with takedown notices, whereas Blizzard actively goes after emulator servers for World of Warcraft because they continue to manage and operate their own live version of World of Warcraft. So the reason that those get hit with takedown notices is because there are rights associated with the intellectual property. And just because your favorite online game went offline doesn't give you the right to continue to use it, even hosting it on your personal servers. It's not how that works. Legal copyright rights, the international property laws, international intellectual property laws, prohibit the use of something beyond the actual rights that were sold. So you wanting to host it on your own after it's offline is illegal. It's fundamentally illegal. And that's the crux of this is like in a perfect world, yes, it would be great to be able to take every game we've ever played and have those in perpetuity, but that's not how copyright law works. That's not how intellectual property law works. And so it has nothing to do with whether the movement itself isn't expecting IP rights to change. It's that they're not understanding that the laws are in place for a reason, because even though you might be an innocent person who just wants to host your game in perpetuity, for every innocent person out there who just wants to keep playing the game, there are 100 people who want to take that product and monetize it. And that's where you get into the protection of copyrights, the protection of trademarks, the protection of patents, the protections of intellectual property law. Correct, Transcend. It's about they're not understanding ownership versus leasing, because all you're doing is releasing these games. Even Steam, read the terms of service on Steam. You don't own any of the games you have on Steam. You don't own any of those games. You lease them from Steam. GOG, you actually own them. But with Steam, you're just leasing them.
The neck injury you suffered during your altercation with Higgs appears to have healed. You know, I've been thinking about what he said at West Fort Knot. He claimed that extinction wasn't his creed, that he wanted to build a world where fear and violence are king. I can only assume that at present he lacks the means to set the last Stranding in motion. So instead, he settled for trying to pit people against one another so they can tear the world apart for him. The weapons factory was just a means to that end. All the more reason why we need to rely upon the rope that is the chiral network to bring the whole continent together. That's not all he said, of course. He wanted to get under your skin with those comments about Loom. To get his revenge by inflicting as much pain and suffering as possible on the undying repatriate. Personally, I think you should try to put it out of your mind. Focus on finishing this journey, and in doing so, finding the closure you need. That's one of the reasons we took to the road after all. That and finishing the network to bring forth a new playgate. Let's carry on, Sam. One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Charlie here. Another assignment has been registered in the system. You can pick up this main order by accessing the Motherhood's delivery terminal.
Miller X had asked a question about can't companies make their own engines such as Blizzard on World of Warcraft? Yes, but here's the thing. What happens if World of Warcraft decides that they no longer want to do... Let's say that Blizzard decides that they no longer want to host World of Warcraft, and they're going to take that game offline. If you do not have the rights to use their game engine, as in you have not purchased the rights to use their game engine, you cannot legally host World of Warcraft on a private server or otherwise because you don't own the rights to the engine. If you don't own the rights to something, you don't get to use it for personal use or otherwise. That would be like me saying, well, guys, that McDonald's restaurant over there closed, but they left all the equipment and the logo's still there. I'm going to go take over that building and I'm going to make McDonald's food for myself for the rest of my life. I'm not selling it to anybody. I'm not harming anybody. It's just for me. No, bitch, that's not how that works. McDonald's is a licensed trademark. They have copyrights and patents. Only they are allowed to use that stuff for personal benefit, whether it's monetary or otherwise. You don't get to just take over something because you want to. Like, there are rules and regulations on an international level that govern this kind of stuff. I think it's an interesting concept, the movement, but they are facing a really massive uphill battle because of like centuries. We have centuries worth of intellectual property and copyright law that continue to evolve, but you're not going to overthrow it just because you want personal ownership of something. You know, it's not how this works. Blizzard can absolutely sue him, Miller X, and they have gone after people for doing that kind of stuff. The question is it worth it from a monetary standpoint for them to go after every single instance of that? And that's the key. Just because they're not going after every single person doesn't mean that that person has the right to do it. It means that that person is doing something that they haven't gotten in trouble for yet. That's like saying, well, this guy over here, I've seen him speeding. He never obeys the speed limit. He's always driving 70 miles an hour when the speed limit sign is 50. He's always speeding. And it's like, yeah, and eventually he will get caught and he will get a ticket. Like, you can't expect to do things that are against the law and not get caught. The question is, have they caught him yet? Is he flying under the radar? The cost of taking someone to court is expensive. So if I'm a company and I see one dude with 80,000 followers on his YouTube channel, it's going to cost me at least probably $20,000 to $50,000, depends on the cost of my lawyers and everything else, but the amount of money that it's going to cost to take that person to court. I have to look at that person and say, does that person have enough money to justify me taking them to court? That's often a factor, is like, if that person is only worth $5,000, then it's whatever. It's like an ant. They're not worth my notice. They're so small, they're so insignificant in the scope that the damage they're doing to our intellectual property is so insignificant that we aren't worried about that. But when you start talking private servers that are hosted with 3,000 players, now we're talking damages, because 3,000 players who could otherwise be paying an active subscription to World of Warcraft, well, now we're talking $15 a month of revenue for every player. Suddenly we're talking $50,000 a month. Right, did I do the math on that right? Make sure I'm going to pull my math calculator up. $15 a month times 3,000 players, $45,000 a month. So now we're talking $45,000 a month in lost revenue, right? That is worth pursuing, because now you're talking, so one dude who has his own private server and he's just leveling up by himself, he's not worth it. Private server hosting 3,000 players, that's worth pursuing in court, because we're losing revenue on that, because that person is robbing our subscriptions. It doesn't matter that they're not charging money. This is why this is where a lot of people don't understand copyright law and intellectual property law. So I have to protect my copyrights. I have to protect my patents. So if I have a patent, if I have a copyright, if I have a trademark, I am required by law to defend my trademark. This is why you'll see, like, it's been 8 or 10 years ago now. King's Games owned the copyright to Candy Crush Saga and etc. They had a trademark on the word saga related to video games because of Candy Crush Saga. So they, in order to prove to the trademark court that they were defending their copyrights and trademarks, they were aggressively pursuing other video game companies that had the word saga in their title, such as the Banner Saga. The Banner Saga had to go to court with King's Game over the use of the word saga in their title because of the fact that it was being used in a video game setting. And this is where the average gamer doesn't have a clue about trademark and copyright, because they're not paying attention to these types of legal battles that are going on. They don't understand copyrights and all that stuff. It's a mess, man. It's a mess. But that's why you don't see Blizzard going after the one dude on a private server, but they will go after and issue takedown notices for private servers that host thousands of players. Because even though those private servers aren't charging money, it's the fact that they are taking those subscribers away from World of Warcraft, which means they are actively impacting and damaging the business. Therefore, that's worth a lawsuit. $50,000 a month in lost revenue, that's damages. And you can prove those damages in court, because those would be subscribers to our live service product. But you're taking our subscribers and you're pushing them somewhere else by offering them a free derivative of our product. No. No, we can't allow that. And you'll see some players be like, that's evil corporate capitalism. I should have free stuff. No, trust me, you don't want those things to be violated. Do the rights ever expire? No. That's the thing with rights. Generally speaking, I say generally speaking, a good example of rights expiring would be like Star Wars Galaxies. Those rights expired. Disney doesn't care about Star Wars Galaxies. They don't care about the engine that was run on. They just don't care about it. It's such a small community, they don't care. So the rights to that expired, and no one cares about it. It's off doing its own thing. Vanguard's Saga of Heroes is another example of an engine and an intellectual property where the rights are just out there in the wind and the owners don't care because there's such a it's such a tiny community that it's not worth going after anybody for running those emulators. But generally speaking, if there is active use of an engine, those rights are still very much in effect. It's only when we talked about MySpace yesterday. I think in that video, if you ever think about MySpace, like MySpace is no longer around anymore. Do people still have are MySpace pages still in existence, or is the hosting completely gone? MySpace.com is still up, so it says here MySpace is still active, though it is a shadow of its former self, largely a music-focused platform now with a diminished user base. Many of the old features are broken or gone. So that's not quite the same thing because it's not dead. We would have to think about something that no longer exists. I'm sure there are examples of that. There are game engines that are no longer used. But this goes back to something I said yesterday, is like a lot of those older games won't even run on modern machines because they were built for a different time. And there's a reason why we can't run those things on Windows 11 machines. And you have to use like an emulator, and people have to program. Yeah, I read that yesterday, Anthem. Stoic. They're finally shutting Anthem down. I'm surprised it went as long as it did, to be honest with you, post announcement that they were abandoning it. But that's the perfect example of it has now become cost prohibitive. Like, it was okay for them to continue to maintain the servers because they had you can kind of look at that as like a tax write-off. So a good example of this, Stoic, is like I still maintain my websites for my travel blog And even though Chris and I have not been active on that travel blog since 2017. I have not published a single blog post since 2017. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 8 years. 8 years we have not been travel bloggers, and I still maintain the website, and I still pay like $250, $300 every year for all the hosting and the URL name and everything else. Why do I do that if I'm not actively using it anymore? And I'll tell you why. Because it's a tax write-off. So for me, the cost of maintaining that, even though I don't use it anymore, is a tax write-off for me. So I can bury that cost. Now, if it ever gets to the point where it's no longer financially viable for me to maintain that, I'll just let it disappear. And that's Anthem. Anthem was a tax write-off for many, many years. We can run the servers, and it doesn't matter that it's not an active product. We can continue to run those servers every single year and let that community of 10,000 players continue to exist because it's a tax write-off for us. But it apparently has gotten to the point where it's no longer financially viable for them to do that, so they're just going to write it off and drop it. My wife is up. I'll be right back. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Miller X says, excuse the total cluelessness here. What is a tax write-off? You mean that you can pay for that, but the government refunds it? Yes, it's a tax deduction. So it's a business expense. So any business expenses that I submit at the end of the year reduce my total amount of taxes owed. So if I owe $1,000 in, if I have $1,000 of taxable revenue and I have a $250 deduction, I now no longer owe $1,000. I don't have $1,000 of taxable revenue. I have $750 of taxable revenue. So the more tax deductions you have, the less tax you pay at the end of the year because you have business expenses to offset what you would otherwise owe. So, if you make 50 grand a year as a freelancer, if you gross $50,000, what you do then is you take all of your deductible expenses and you take that off the top of what you owe. So if you have $15,000 of deductions for the year, your taxable income goes from $50,000 down to $35,000. So now you only owe tax on $35,000 versus $50,000. So that's how tax deductions work. So yes, that's why many companies, many individuals will continue to maintain LLCs and different, because this is what I meant when I said yesterday, a lot of gamers lack business knowledge, and so they make these wild accusations about game companies and what should or shouldn't be done with rights and copyrights and all this stuff. And it's like, I think a lot of people need to, you know what needs to happen is schools, like when you go through when you go through like basic school, there's two things that really need to be taught in grade school and high school, which is finance. We need to teach kids about money, and we need to teach people about intellectual property laws and copyrights, because those are things that impact, especially in the day and age where everyone's a creator, and like, what are your rights when it comes to your own photographs and social media content and everything. Like, it's a big thing. Sparky says, I can respect IPs and copyrights to an extent, but in my opinion, there are serious issues with copyright laws that should be addressed. Having an IP for a character game world setting is such an understanding, but when we have copyrighted general words or mechanics, that seems like crossing the line of acceptance. For example, you said trademarking the word saga, or like Nintendo copyrighting a mechanic is just off. But well, Nintendo, you're not wrong, but you're talking about trademarking. That's different than copyright. Trademark is different than copyright. So trademarking the word saga, yeah, it's a shitty thing. But if you don't do it, if you don't protect yourself in an aggressive fashion, someone absolutely will take your shit, steal your work, and leave you penniless. That's just the world we live in. It sucks. It sucks. But that's the world we live in. And if you don't play by those rules, you will get fucked by those rules. And that's the thing about all of that. But here's the thing. Nintendo copyrighted the mechanics such as a creature summoned from an object because of Pokemon, right? The Pal World situation, a lot of people are like, oh, but poor Pal World. No, not poor Pal World. Pal World's developers willingly took a concept and copied it so closely that Nintendo was able to convince a judge. Because here's the thing. You have to prove to a court, before you're allowed to initiate a lawsuit, you have to prove to the court, you have to prove to the judge that you have an actual case. You have to prove to them that you have a case. And in the case of Pal World versus Nintendo, Nintendo was able to show with such blatant evidence that Pal World copied them that's a court case. The word thing is a pain in the ass, and I agree that it's scummy, but that's the world we live in, and you either play by those rules or you don't make games. The Nemesis mechanic from Shadow of Mordor, I mean, yeah, but it's a patented system. It's a really cool concept. It doesn't matter that they're not going to use it anymore or that they shuttered the studios. They came up with the concept. They have the right to protect that concept. Like Transcend says Transcend says, I'd like to add that it's irrelevant what people think in terms of what is fair from a morality standpoint. At the end of the day, it's someone's property. Yes. That is what patents, trademark, copyright, and intellectual property law protect. The rights of the creators and the rights of the owners. And until you have actually created something as an individual, I feel like you're never going to understand that. Like, as someone with, I have so many things that I've created that are mine. It doesn't, but that's the thing, Sparky. Respectfully, I'm going to read your comment. Nintendo hasn't had an original idea in decades. I agree that Pal World did it dirty, but at the same time, it showed how much more Nintendo could have done with Pokemon if they had an incentive to evolve. So, with all due respect, have you published a game? Have you published a book? Have you published music? Seriously, because that's what it comes down to. It's expensive to create new things, even if you have an existing idea that works. And it's all well and good to sit there and say, Nintendo should do this. are you going to give them the money to do that? Like, it's tricky, man. Like, I'm not trying to say that to be a dick. I'm just saying, like, it's all well and good to criticize from the sidelines, but until you're willing to put up millions of dollars to create something and then defend that something against people like Pal World, like, they're obviously making enough money with Pokemon that they don't feel the need to evolve it beyond what it is. That's like people who say that Disney needs to do this, that, or the other with Star Wars, or that Paramount needs to do this, that, or the other with Star Trek. Okay, pitch your idea to Disney, pitch your idea to Paramount, prove that you have an idea. It's like it takes a lot of money to create things and to defend them against the competition. The shitty part about being in business, any business, whether it's music or video game development or others, is that you have to defend your shit. That's the shitty part about being a creative, is you have to be an aggressive asshole about your rights, because if you don't, someone else is going to come along and steal your shit. And people can accuse you of, well, you're not doing anything with the idea. We should be allowed to. No, come up with your own idea. Like, there's nothing wrong with riffing off of a concept, but when you make something that's a blatant copy and then your legal defense is, well, you weren't doing anything with it, I should be allowed to do something. That's not a legal defense. That's we're still talking consumer rights versus property laws. Yeah, and exactly. The more governments are involved, it sucks. What about music nowadays? Oh, well, the Spotify thing is shitty, man. Musicians make next to no money on Spotify, unfortunately. But yet, there is no other option if you want to get your music out there streaming wise. Spotify is like the big platform if you want your music to get noticed. But Spotify is not, they do not offer a fair percentage to musicians at all. Oh, we gotta go back to the Motherhood Terminal, which is right down the road.
Very impressive work,
Sam. Sam, do you remember the coffin Higgs used to make his escape from the weapons factory? Well, it seems we've identified a similar-looking object. The mechanic, whose shelter you're slated to link up next, reached out to us. He's asked us to go and retrieve this object on his behalf. I'll give you a more detailed briefing as you review the request. Accept the main order on this delivery terminal to proceed.
You're gonna come over here and ask for... You never ask for cariño. What's up, mama? Dude, she never comes over here and asks for attention. She's... Wow, are you okay? You are my feral street cat who we adopted 2 years ago. Are you purring? Are you purring? You are purring. What is up? I have to be very careful with her. She bites really, really bad. That's a first. She wants to go out. She's at the door. I'll be right back. I gotta let her out. All right. Chris actually already made more coffee, so I'm going straight to a third cup without having to wait for breakfast. Okay. The cat was asking me. Yeah, we're about to switch over to Dune here in a few minutes, Slacker. Bilbo's Wagons over on Twitch says, "Can you play music while you're dealing packages or only in the private room?" I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea if that feature has been changed because I haven't been paying attention to that feature because I can't play the music because I'm streaming, so I have no clue.
Hello, Sam. Charlie here. This next order requires you to retrieve a piece of cargo. Said cargo is located somewhere within this armed survivalist's base and is a distressingly familiar coffin-shaped object. Additional devices of unknown purpose appear to have been delivered to the base as well. While much remains unclear, securing the coffin for study may provide us with intel on Higgs and his movements. The mechanic is eager to conduct an analysis, and we have every intention of cooperating with him. That's all the additional information I have for now. There may be more surprises in store for us during this operation.
Oh, I guarantee
So
you.
take all due care in plotting your route and finalizing your equipment loadout. We're counting on you, Sam.
Guarantee you that's going to be a gnarly mission.
Order accepted. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
But anyway, we will be switching over to Dune Awakening here in probably 10-15 minutes. I'm almost to the 2-hour mark. I'm trying to do at least 2 hours every morning, 2 to 3. We'll see. The current agenda is like in 10 minutes we'll switch over, but I might decide to keep going. We'll never know. But 2 to 3 hours Death Stranding 2 every morning because I got to try to clear this game by the 15th, and I got a lot of story left. Really what I need to do is stop yapping about random subjects and just play the fucking game. But I like rambling. And people ask good questions, so hashtag worth it. Yeah, if you have limited time, you just gotta stick to 1 or 2 games, you know?
That's the way.
Nope. No offense taken whatsoever. I am happy to discuss topics even when people don't agree with me on them. The difference is when people say stupid things like, well, your opinion is trash. Eh. It's like, no, that's not how this works. That is a grenade. Back away. I'm not even attempting stealth right now. I'm like, I got a truck with guns on it. Screw y'all. Yeah, the ramble is a part of my streams. Generally speaking, yes.
Look there, Sam. It's the coffin.
I see it.
Be careful. Higgs may still be inside that thing.
Who is still chucking grenades? Come here. Cargo almost ruined. Cell sample. I guess I have some cargo that I have to worry about. Enemy base neutralized. That's right, we could take them all out, and then we're taking all their shit. So I've got ceramics, I've got this, I've got pizza, I've got metals. Let's go load these in the truck. I need to find a, my truck is severely damaged though. I've got to get back to the Magellan and like, fix my truck. Oh, this is all the stuff that's on the truck. Yeah, we gotta put that, and that on the truck. Hang on, this is being silly.
Let's get a move on.
Looks like you have what was requested. All that remains now is to drop it off.
Nah, please tell me that I can figure out a way to get this on the truck. Are you fucking kidding me? So it wants me to, what happens if I get in my truck? Dude, I can't leave my truck here, man. Do I gotta come back for this? Dude, I think I'm gonna have to come back for that because it wants me to drag it. Because it won't let me put it in this truck. So it was on the other truck. I'm like, that kind of seems stupid that I can't load it onto a vehicle.
You're mine.
Well, I'm not a fan of this. How am I gonna do this? I'm gonna load. Let me see if I can load. It feels like I should have just. If it was on that vehicle, I think they obviously... No, see, it already saved it. Fuck, man. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Because it won't let me load it onto a vehicle. It wants me to drag it, which means I would need like a... Alright, now we got music playing, which I gotta mute. Huh. I feel like I kind of borked myself by not stealing the vehicle that it was on. And now I'm going to have to go back and pick it up by foot, on foot, and drag it across the landscape. That seems like poorly designed. On top of which I had to mute the music, so that's another poorly designed thing. Little quirks in Death Stranding 2, kids. I do not know now how I'm going to do that. Well, first things first, I gotta load my truck up here. Alright, music is done. No, my truck's not too full, it just wouldn't flat out let me load it. So it was loaded on a truck. I took it off the truck to put it on my truck. It just flat out won't let me.
Look, Sam, a hot spring. Shall we take a dip?
You take a dip. I'm gonna go back there and try to get that body before the stuff respawns. Twin Peaks is a great show. Yeah, the third Dune film. Dune Part 3. This is auteur art. Auteur art. I don't have any carriers either, unfortunately. Probably could have made one. I'm a herper-derper and forgot I had one on the other truck. Too late now. Pretty sure I don't have a carrier on me. Can I use the PCC to create a carrier? No, I think I have to create carriers at... Yeah, I have to create a carrier. See, it won't let me carry on back. And if I use vehicle... Did it put the cargo in? Why wouldn't it do it with my truck? Maybe it was because my truck was full. Did it stick it in the truck? Not carried coffin. Where is the coffin? Like, is it in the truck? Where the fuck is the coffin? It doesn't say it's in the vehicle.
Let's get a move on.
I'm very confused here. Dude, I can put it in the truck, but you know what? It takes up the whole truck. So that's what it was, is my truck had stuff in it. So I couldn't put it in my truck. Alright, problem solved. And this is not my truck, so I don't care if I break it. Definitely is on the other side of the river. I think the Lynch version, even though it's not really Lynch's version because he disowned it, I think the Lynch version is an important evolution of Dune. I never want it to go away. Like, what they did with the voice was very creative in their version. I think it's important for those creative visions to exist. I'm very much of the Brandon Sanderson point of view, where it's like we want our adaptations to be different. We don't want things to be 100% just like the book, because then there's no point in watching. If it's gonna be just like the book, why would I watch it? Like, I want things to be different based on the medium.
Gotcha.
Or Patrick Stewart. Mood is for cattle and women, boy. Not in the mood. Wait, did Patrick Stewart's version say that, or am I thinking the Sci-Fi Channel version? I remember one of the Gurney Hallecks did the whole mood is for cattle and women, which you would not get away with saying in today's environment.
Almost there.
Security measures lifted. Weapons detected. Be advised.
It was Patrick Stewart's version? Okay, yeah. Mood is for cattle and love play. No, I think cattle and love play is the Patrick Stewart version. Cattle and women is the Sci-Fi Channel version. But they did keep the line in both. I think they just say it slightly different in each version. Yeah, okay.
I'm glad you could make it. Did you really manage to retrieve the device? I'll need to assess its condition. Well, it's clearly been well taken care of. No wonder people trust you.
I am a trustworthy porter.
I know this. I've been looking all over for it. Been waiting a long... I understand you have a Cupid. Then go ahead and connect me to the network.
I'm gonna take my Q thing and stick it in. Oh, what is this? A coffin-shaped transportation device that can operate as smoothly on water as dry land. You can ride it like a surfboard. You can also climb inside to take a rest, hide from enemies, or deploy stun bombs. It can be also used to dispose of corpses. The coffin board will not function outside of the chiral network and must be dragged behind you. Consumes chiral crystals. The coffin board is battery powered. Why would I ever want to use that?
Now displaying your current order grade.
Fascinating, this ocean of information. It's so much more than I imagined. Enough for me to make great strides in multiple avenues of research. I hesitate to call it a reward, but I would like to present you with this. It's a classic collectible, sure to help you make lasting memories.
A camera. That's Woodkid, the composer.
I finished my examination of that coffin.
I'm not familiar with them, so that's
and
cool.
Now I can share with you the coffin board schematic. It's essentially a coffin that's been equipped with an electric propulsion unit. Who made it and for what purpose is anyone's guess. I just happened to stumble across the associated data while I was studying the one you recovered. I'm also curious how such a bizarre device came into the possession of the armed survivalists. Even though the weapons factory has been destroyed, this and other dangerous tech has been popping up everywhere. We need to use all methods at our disposal to protect ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, he did quite a bit of music for this game, yeah.
Thanks again for all your help, friend. Oh,
The data scientist just posted a
sounds like
suborder.
she's got her hands on something. But I won't keep.
Sam, the coffin you recovered for us is being examined by the mechanic as we speak. APAS's own analysis has concluded that while there is no evidence that Higgs was ever inside it, the technology it utilizes is undeniably related to that of the Ghost mechs. Meaning it's possible that Higgs is still fabricating all new kinds of weapons. Now, as for the coffin board that the mechanic was kind enough to share with you, it's much more than just a mode of transport. If you're within network coverage, you can hide inside one and retreat into the tar currents. This provides an opportunity to catch your breath, or to attack the enemy with a stun bomb. The board you brought back had the very same functionality, so we're very lucky you stole it from the survivalist.
Okay.
It would be terrible indeed. I must commend you on a job.
Yep.
Thanks for doing your part, Sam. I know that wasn't an easy job. The time
Keep
has
on
come to
keeping
finally
on.
connect East Fort Knot to the chiral network. That said, it will take a while longer for the necessary cargo to be ready for transport. So let's use this time for everyone to get some rest. Between decontaminating the ship and searching for the weapons factory, it's fair to say everyone's been feeling the strain. You and Dolman have had to complete several difficult orders recently too. Wrap up any pressing and finished business, then return to the Magellan so you can take a break.
I could use a
We
back
have a
rub
long
too.
road ahead of us, and we need to manage our health to make it to the end.
Back rub and a
Another
foot
subject.
massage.
Would you mind if I borrowed that instant camera the mechanic gave you? I bet Rainey and Tomorrow would love to try it out. Apparently, they're pretty rare these days. It'll be a fun experience for them.
Order completed. Well done.
Now, did the Magellan come on outside here? No, they're back over there. Left behind. This confuses me. So, she wants me to grab that. Okay, I understand now. I'm all the way over here, so it wants me to go back over there and then transport that. Okay, I see. Yeah, I don't need to do that right now. I was like, what are all the lines pointing me to different places? But I don't care about that truck, because that's not my truck. Alright. That's my truck. My truck is special. This is my pickup. This is my truck. I know it's ugly and I don't give a fudge sickle. Way to go to bed, filthy dirty. I am never gonna get how Sam does that. There is no way I would jump into a bed. No, no. Music, music, music. Sorry guys, I gotta mute all of this. Copyrighted music. I do like how Tarman's up there fishing and the cat just ran up and jumped on his shoulder. The demon cat. Wish you wouldn't play this song. I realize that you have a likeness for this song, but every time you play this song, I have to mute the frickin' stream because the copyright will ding me. And then I lose all my monetization. Do you, naps depends on how dirty. Like if I've gone out for a walk and I come home and I'm super sweaty, yeah, I can't lay down for a nap. But just like if all I've done is like house stuff, I'll lay down and take a nap. But I don't like dirty sheets. Like that's just nasty. Like all right, did he stop the music? Okay, I think we're good. Take a shower, Sam.
Sam, it's Hartman. Do you have a moment? I've been wondering, is there a child on board with us? I asked because there were building blocks in my room, and I certainly don't recall putting them there. Unless you know something about them?
Maybe they belong to tomorrow? She's taken an interest in all kinds of things.
Yes, that could well explain it. Right. Sorry for bothering you.
Did you manage to get some rest, Sam? I hope so. Your next order is ready for you. This time you've been asked to deliver some cargo to East Fortnite. But you need to travel to West Fortnite to pick it up. And that's quite far from your final destination. The DHV Magellan can take you straight there at least. Plot a course for us and we'll get underway. Drawbridge is on standby for now. But once you accept this order, you can be assured that we'll provide you with whatever support you need. See to your equipment, then head to the West Fortnite delivery terminal to get started.
Hey Sam, Tarman here.
God, everybody wants to
We
talk
used
to
this
me.
recent downtime to modify the DHV Magellan so you can change its exterior colour at will.
Ooh.
If you access your ring terminal while in your private room, you'll see a new customization function is now available.
Groovy.
So if you'd like to change things up before tackling your next order, you're more than welcome to do so.
Is Fragile too fragile to do any work? Feels like that. Open the ring terminal. Change the color. I don't like any of these. Hideous. I'll stick with what it is right now. I don't want camo. Let's go take a shower. Sam is a dirty little dude. Stinking up the shoulder of the ship that we're on. And when he takes a shower, ooh, so sexy. That's right, kids. Get your Norman on. Read us, succeed us. Oh my goodness. West Fort Knot. Dude, that is a long ass way away. Nothing wrong with the third playthrough of Avowed. Oh, and they're gonna tell me that the DH Magellan is unable to move after this. I guarantee you they're gonna be like, "Hey, we can't use it to teleport you. The ship is stuck for some odd reason." It'll be like the 10th time that we're not allowed to use the ship to go. Sorry, Sam, you're gonna have to hook it. Hoof it. Hook it.
Yeah, and go.
Selfie!
Hey, Sam.
Hi. What are you guys doing?
Nothing important.
Can you take a picture of us?
Sure.
If we want to do it right, we could choose somewhere else.
Alright.
Why don't you choose?
He's not letting me choose anywhere else other than the corridor. Oh, stop moving!
You see, someone closed their eyes. Let's try for another one.
No shit! God damn it, stop moving! Like, tomorrow is like moving so quickly that I never get a chance to take it. There we go. Perfect. Got it.
That's a nice photo.
Thanks. They'll make for a great memento.
I love it.
You take care, Sam.
I do take care. Every time I leave the ship, I take great care. I'd like to come back alive, you see. Oh, you know what though? This is where I have a whole bunch of
Cargo is nearly ruined, Sam. Proceed with the utmost caution.
well, I can tell you two things we're gonna do right now. One,
You mind?
I should have enough to do something here, but I want to hit this repair station first. Because I have a bunch of metals and ceramics that I'm going to use to go do a certain section of the highway. Just so that I can have it completed. But first... If I'm not mistaken, I have one section of highway left here. That's it, to connect that. So, we're going to go up there and do that. Before I do anything. Because I have a whole bunch of Ceramics and metal. We're going to repair this section of highway and then come back, and then I will switch over to Dude Awakening. Well, I'm going to have to go for a walk and eat my breakfast and everything, but...
Snag. Look that way.
It's a cool song, but I'm getting tired of it. Because every time it plays, I have to mute that audio. Damn it, Kojima. This is the last section of highway that I need to build for this whole section to be covered. And I'm only doing this because the completionist in me is like, I at least have to, even if I'm not going to build all the other roads, I can at least say that I completed these 2 highways. Better be an achievement for completing this section of the highway, damn it. It's the last segment, man. It's cool how there's more of these transporters up here, these transcoders, I think is what they're called. There's way more transportation options in this game than there were in the first game. Alright, somewhere up here is the road thing. Just ceramics. Oh, I don't have enough ceramics. Are you shitting me? I still don't have enough ceramics. Well, whatevs. Allow me to be a pussy bitch now. Alright, is the auto on? The auto drive is on. Alright. I'm going to wrap here, everybody. Drive back to West Fort Knott, save my game. I'll be back for more Death Stranding 2 tomorrow morning as we continue our playthrough of this game. But we are going to move over to do Dune Awakening for the rest of the morning stream. I am going to go for a walk to the park first and have my breakfast, so it's going to be about 45 minutes. Possibly less, but expect it to be around 45 minutes. I got to keep doing my therapy, so I got to go do my stretches, and I'll probably do some pull-ups and stuff since it's not a muddy mess today. So I'm going to do a walk, have some food, and then expect me to be back in 45-ish minutes. If I go over, it'll be about an hour. And then we will move over to Dune Awakening for the rest of the morning. And we should get a good... We should be able to get a good 3-4 hour session in on Dune Awakening today. And then back again tomorrow morning for more Death Stranding 2. Catch you guys next time if you're waiting for the Death Stranding 2 stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you in about 45 minutes.